Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Long Walk Talks. My name is David Hensley. I'm the owner and creative director of Long Walk Productions, and I am joined today by one of my two co-hosts, Chris Barnes.
How you doing? This is more of a short walk than a long walk.
Yeah, today's going to be a short walk. Chris is already getting into the spirit of what he's going to be doing every other episode for the rest of the year because, much like I do during the recordings of This Is a Work, our sister show hosted by David Two Dogs Hayes about wrestling, Chris is playing a game on his phone right now. As we alluded to, this is going to be a mini-sode of sorts because we don't have Stan here and we don't exactly have a topic. Instead, what I wanted to do was to give you an idea of what to expect over the coming year, 2020. Listeners may be surprised, and Chris will definitely be surprised by this, but I actually took your advice, Chris.
You did?
I did. We are going to be doing episodes throughout this entire year dedicated to discussing the works of Quentin Tarantino.
Wait, when was this my idea?
In one of our last episodes, it was the 2019 wrap-up, or the our best films 2015 through 2019 episode. You said, you and Stan really ought to just start your own podcast where you discuss the Quentin Tarantino filmography. And I thought to myself, you know what, that's a great idea, but I already have a podcast where I could do that. So now that's what we're going to be doing.
Listeners, if you haven't read The Monkey's Paw, you just got a nice summation of it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, for those of our listeners who are not hardcore Tarantino fans like Chris.
Does it count for hosts?
Yes. Like Chris, and I'm sure a lot of our other listeners, this is going to be an every other episode sort of thing. So twice a month, we'll be talking about a Tarantino movie and then a random topic like we usually do. So to give you a rundown of what you can expect for this year, I've broken it down how the discussions are going to work. In one of our February episodes, we're going to talk about the Tarantino-verse as a whole. Yeah, that's the internet nomenclature. In March, we're going to be discussing his first film, Reservoir Dogs. Then in April, Pulp Fiction. In May, we're going to do a double feature of two films that he wrote but did not direct, which are True Romance and Natural Born Killers. June is going to be another double feature of Four Rooms and From Dusk Till Dawn. In July, we're going to discuss Jackie Brown. In August, Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2. September is probably going to be a pretty short episode because there was no good way to group this. It falls right in the middle of a bunch of feature-length films. Death Proof. October will be Inglourious Bastards. November will be a double feature, since they're both westerns, of Django Unchained and The Hateful Eight. And we're going to finish everything out in December by talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Chris, I don't know how to describe the look on your face right now.
I love and support you, and I love and support this podcast, but I can't think of anywhere I'd rather be than away from here for the next year.
Aw. Well, like I said, it's going to be an every other episode thing. And as you kind of pointed out, I mean, you can do what I usually do when you and dogs are talking wrestling, which is play games on your phone and pipe in with sarcastic comments.
Kind of, yeah, because I not to be mean, it's just like, I have no fight. I have no dog in this fight.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, but you've seen a couple of these films, I think just with me.
Well, the only episode, I know the episode I'll be most engaged in is Django and Hateful Eight, because I loved one of those and I hated one of those.
Yeah, same here. So that's what you can expect from us. And like I said, that'll be, hopefully we can stick to the 2 episode a month format so that you're getting Tarantino discussion every other episode for those of our listeners who are not Tarantino nerds.
But I guarantee it's going to be interesting to listen to either way. I mean, as someone who has no real affinity for his movies, I don't mind people talking about them.
Yeah.
I like hearing other people talk about them more than he talks about them.
Well, yeah, there is also that. And I mean,
honestly, I think that's what turns me off the most about his movies is Tarantino.
Yeah, and there has, over the last couple of years, there's been a lot of controversy regarding Tarantino that we will discuss, I'm sure, that I know I have hard thoughts on, and we both know Stan will have hard thoughts on.
Hard thoughts expressed at length.
Yeah,
whether you
that I
want
may
them
have
to
to
or
edit,
not.
that I may have to edit down to an acceptable length.
Stan, not to be mean, just reminds me of that quote from the movie Dogma when Alan Rickman, as the Metatron, goes, "When he starts talking, and he will, at length."
Yeah, that sounds right. So that's what you can expect from Long Walk Talks. Now, with This Is a Work, we'll be picking up with that within the next week, because as of today, January 25th, we've got the Royal Rumble coming up tomorrow to look forward to. Yep.
Wait.
Sunday, January 26th, the Royal Rumble, which means we should hopefully have an episode out about that within the next week. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of AEW pay-per-views to look forward to over the coming year.
Oh, sure. Now that they're in full swing with their... Supposedly they might be getting a second TV show.
Wow. You'd be shocked, but Wednesday night when I got home from rehearsal, I was flipping through channels, and I actually put it on AEW Dynamite.
Nice.
Watched that for a little bit. It was interesting. They were on... Chris Jericho's cruise.
That's right. I heard that they had Jericho used the cruise to film a whole episode.
Yeah, they were somewhere in the Bahamas, and they had set up the ring, I think, on a beach.
Reminiscent of WCW used to do an annual bash at the beach, and they would do it at a beachside.
Yeah, Dogs and I were talking about that briefly, and I'm sure he'll elaborate it more on This Is a Work. I'm not really qualified to talk about it, but he was telling me they actually had to license the name Bash at the Beach from the WWE,
yes,
which I'm sure was a fun conversation for Cody Rhodes.
And they worked it out somehow, apparently.
Yeah, somehow. So anyway... that's what you've got to look forward to. We've got a clean feed now. All of our old episodes have been taken down, and you can still find most of them on our YouTube page, which you can search David B. Hensley. You can also find them through liking our Facebook page, Long Walk Talks, and This Is a Work. That's Long Walk Talks, ampersand, This Is a Work.
Not to take attention away from your channel, you may want to just go ahead and make a Long Walk Talks YouTube channel to archive everything.
Well, I've got a playlist that I put everything into.
Oh yeah,
that I'm
if
gonna,
you search for the playlist, it'll pop up.
And I'm going to put it in the show notes for this episode as well.
Okay, cool.
So, Chris, are you looking forward to anything in particular in 2020? Not being present for the Tarantino episode?
No, I'm sure it'll be fun.
All right. Well, we've got a lot of talking to do over the next 11 months. Sometimes shouting, for sure. Sometimes talking over each other and arguing with Stan.
Sometimes backhanded insults.
A lot of backhanded insults. So for Long Walk Talks and This Is a Work, I'm David Hensley.
Yes, you are. What? No, I'm Chris. Have a good day.
All right. We will be back soon.